It's time for another board recap podcast here at the end of the month of October. And early happy Halloween to you, Dr. Smith.
Thank you very much, and happy Halloween to all of our faithful listeners. It's been a great fall. I
Yes,
don't
it has.
recall many
Beautiful.
falls where we still haven't had anything close to freezing temperature yet.
I know. Yeah.
There were a couple of days a few weeks ago where it got in the 30s, but
People who are looking forward to wearing their flannel shirts and sweaters are still waiting for those days.
that's right, and that's okay with me.
Short sleeve weather. So
I love fall. Let's extend it a couple more months.
absolutely. I don't think many people will argue with you on that. Let's take a look at last night's school board meeting, if you will, and we'll start with good news. And well, we talk about this every year. We do this podcast, but what a great thing the West Side Nut Club does. Everything they do is certainly great for our community, but they always host the special Kids Day. So we're going back now to the week before fall break during Fall Festival. And if you're able to see the pictures or if you've seen them online, so many smiling faces, so many volunteers working with really children from all over the area and the community to make sure that Special Kids Day is a success and fun for everyone involved.
It's one of the best things that I think our Evansville
For
community
sure.
has going for us. Would not happen without the West Side Nut Club.
No, it takes all hands on deck for that, and they do a phenomenal
Great
job
collaborative
with it.
effort.
Yes, for sure. Right before fall break, we had the opportunity to do one of your favorite things, and that's hand
You
out
bet.
the September Cause for Applause Award. The Employee of the Month went to Michaela Elper. She's a teacher at Delaware Elementary, and I mentioned last night to the board, boy, one of the comments in particular, lots of comments on social, but a parent of a current student and a former student as well, just shouting out what a great impact she's had on her two kids.
Yeah, and if you have the blessing of being able to view this, you'll just see the expression on Michaela's face. I think that captures her personality to a T. And, I would have loved to have been in her class.
The kids there, if you're looking at the picture, if you remember it like we do, talk about a group of smiling kids who you can tell enjoy being at school. When you enjoy being at school, you enjoy learning.
You
So,
bet.
congratulations to her. Congratulations to North High School Engineering. And, we always are shouting out community partnerships with businesses and local organizations. Here's another great one. The Alcoa Foundation gave $20,000 grant to North High School's engineering program. That marks $40,000 in the past 3 years. Great partnership. They do great things in that program with Mr. Bobbitt. And thanks to the Alcoa Foundation for that.
Yes.
Also in good news last night, we recently, just last week, hosted that 8th grade high school options fair. We had an excellent turnout for that. I was there for a period of time, and just parents and students everywhere talking to all of the different representatives from our different high school innovative model programs. We have so many options we offer. What I liked the most, I think, was seeing our current students actually kind of selling and showing what those programs have to offer instead of just the teachers. And people really did have a great opportunity to shop for their different options, and looking forward to them making those decisions.
Yes. And, we tend to take our innovative models for granted here. But as I talk to superintendents around the state and certainly the Midwest, we're very unique in that.
Yes.
But our students, our families are really blessed to be able to pick from a huge variety of options that we have for their students, in addition to outstanding traditional schools.
Absolutely. And you really, for most of these programs, you get to experience best of both worlds. You get a half day in your regular traditional school, half day in the innovative model program, more learning experiences, and you make more friends. So that's a winning combination.
Yeah.
So,
And just like Career and Tech Center,
oh my
these
goodness.
programs are open to students at least in a 5-county area.
Yes, all over the region. And we had people at the options fair, parents and students really from all over, not just here from Evansville. So certainly great to see a good turnout for that. Harrison High School won the Channel 14 Sunrise Spirit Challenge for the most or the largest amount, greatest weight of pounds being donated for the Tri-State Food Bank with their canned food donation. They brought in over 18,000 pounds, and we've talked about this on a recent podcast. Great morning for Harrison, and they did a great job donating food.
You bet. Just a great vibe at Harrison High School. A lot of energy there, and Harrison is just kind of a secret now, if you will.
Yes, I mean,
so many good things going on there, and that's just one tangible example.
Right, absolutely. So proud of them. Congrats. And speaking of congratulations, let's talk about something near and dear to your heart, high school marching bands. I think All of them had a great season, and two of them are advancing to state, North and Rights. But why don't you tell us a little bit about it, because I know you've been pleased for all of them this year.
I think this probably counts as one of the best years we've had for marching bands, certainly in my tenure of EVSC, and that goes back a few decades. Um, Two state marching band finalists in Rights as well as in North, last year's state champion.
Yes, returning
Not
state
to
champion.
jinx them, but
Right.
hopefully good luck to them,
Right.
and hopefully they'll bring it home again. But we also had Harrison, which was less than half a point away from getting the state finals, in Bosse High School. I spent 11 great years there as a high school band orchestra director, and they finished 11th. They take the top 10
Right.
in the state finals, and Bosse was .425 away from make it in the state finals. And then Central, I think, finished 13th in the state, in the Scholastic
Yeah.
division. So all of our high school marching bands have had a great season. That's just a testament to the hard work and dedication of our students, our staff, and our parents.
And almost taking it for granted now, too, because making it to semi-state is a big honor, correct? I mean, let alone then advancing to state.
If you know much about marching bands, you know Indiana is a hotbed for great marching
Wow.
bands. So it's a testament to just the great things happening here in EVSC.
Yes, thanks to everyone. And when I say everyone, there's a lot of people involved with this program. So
And
kudos.
there are not many communities that have two marching bands that make it to state finals, certainly not in the same class.
Right, right. Yeah, very, very impressive. So we're very proud of that. Lots of good news to share with the board last night. And that wraps that up and takes us into consent items, if you
All
will.
right. Well, let's get going. And item 3.02, consideration of allowance of payments for this 2-week period of time, total of $14.3 million. Now, that also included health insurance, contract driver payments, invoices that were actually going back more than 2 weeks. It dipped back into September 30th as well as September the 3rd. And then looking at item 3.03, consideration to approve grant proposals, there were two grants that were submitted for the board's consideration, and that was the NASA First Robotics Competition Rookie Grant. So this is an award up to $6,000 to help first-time teams to get going with robotics. So good luck with that.
So
with our
exciting.
friends
So
at
many of our
Bosse.
students getting to experience robotics. That is fantastic.
It is great. And then the second grant is based upon our student body, and that is the Title III grant. And that's, as I said, based on a formula depending upon the students that you have in your school district. Item 3.04, consideration to approve the agreement with Apex or APIC Printing LLC. So this is a new contract for us, and basically stores that sell EVSC logoed merchandise then will provide a royalty payment for the merchandise that depicts high school or even middle or elementary school, but their logo and their mascot. Item 3.05, consideration to approve change order number 2 for the Bosse High School Stadium Turf Project of 2024. And this was a deduct or a reduction of $800 because embedded in this contract was a fixed amount for gravel that was not needed. So that was 10 tons of gravel at $80 per ton that we didn't need, even though it was built into the base bid. So that was a reduction of $800. Item 3.06, consideration to approve change order number 1 for the Teacup Elementary School roofing project. And this really was for two things. First of all, the fascia, and that is material that goes, that really is at the top of the roof and the wall. And there was a 9-inch fascia that was taken off to replace the roof. And then we needed really to extend that to an 11-inch fascia so that it would be more appealing.
To the casual observer, kind of a trim piece, if you will.
That's a great way to put it. And then also up on the top, we have rooftop HVAC units. And where the electric comes in, some of that had deteriorated, so we put aluminum housings over that to make certain that water would not penetrate those.
All of our facilities are great, but if you ever go by Teacup Elementary, just such a nice neighborhood elementary school facility. Really is.
And a blend of
Yes.
the original Teacup School that is more than
Right.
100 years old
Right.
with a more modern facility.
Yeah, really a great school campus for elementary students.
3.07, consideration to approve the permanent easement to CenterPoint Energy of Indiana south regarding Harrison High School. So there is just a snippet of ground that they needed that I think is along Cullen Avenue, and they needed our permission to take over that easement so that they could put some, I believe, electrical lines underneath. 3.08, then consideration to approve the renewal agreement with the CDWG for maintenance of the cooling system in the technology data center. So we have a lot of servers in that room. Those servers really do put off a great deal of heat, and if they get overheated, they go down. So it's
Not a good
important,
thing, right?
no, that this has a separate standalone cooling system. And as we continue to move more of our data to the cloud, then we will reduce the number of servers we have. So over time, this may certainly dwindle, but that is what we need at this point in time.
Have to pay attention to that behind the scenes
Make certain
support
all
for
that
technology.
data is in good shape.
Yes. So that takes us through consent items, takes us into personnel recommendations. And you and I were talking about this briefly before we started talking in the recording. There's an aspect of this that might be interesting for you to share. I think people might find it enlightening.
Yes, I think many entities, when there is an opening in a position, that a lot of companies just fill that
Fill it. You have an
existing
opening, you fill it.
opening with
Sure.
with the folks and keep it as is.
Right.
When we brought on Titan for food service, I believe last year, there was a position that became vacant because actually individual was promoted into another position into another department. So we left that position vacant because we thought with bringing Titan on that the responsibilities and requirements may shift a little bit in food and nutrition, and that was indeed the case. So we were able to bring on Andrea Husk, who was a great cafeteria manager for us at Dexter. And I know they're going to miss her at Dexter, but she will do a great job as a field specialist for us. And I just hats off to food nutrition because it is very easy just to keep the
Sure.
status quo and, well, this is the position we had, so this is the position we're going to fill. But they took the time and energy and put in the effort necessary to say, you know what, in this new environment, in the current state, we don't need to continue the status quo because we can be better.
And really,
So-
you've under you and the school board's leadership, really taken that same approach for all central office positions that I can think of for the last several years. It's never just a fact of filling an open spot. It's let's see what's needed. Does it need to change or
Right.
evolve? And let's align us
Yep.
so that we're successful moving forward.
And really, all credit goes to our school board because without their leadership, without their patience, we couldn't do that.
Mhm.
And I know of many instances where it's like, no, just fill the position that you currently or that you had that was just vacated. And our board always wants us to strive to be better, and they have the patience and expectation that we do that.
Sure.
So hats off to them.
Appreciate you sharing that. Thought that might be interesting.
Thank you.
And then take us into one action item from last night.
Yes, so action 5.01, consideration to approve updates to policies. And this is really an outgrowth of we've been with Raptor Volunteer Management for a while, so we have additional services through them, and that really did prompt a review of all of our policies when it comes to background checks and volunteer management. So we were able to condense the policies that we had. We no longer have a need for the old policy, which was 6120, and we did the revisions to 3010 and 3120.08 to really improve the clarity and to streamline the language.
Okay. And then we had 7 information items, most of which were with Dr. Underwood.
Yes. So items 6.01, 6.02, 6.03, 6.04, and 6.05 are those monthly financial statements that Dr. Underwood presents. And then we have the self-insurance quarterly analysis, which, as its name suggests, is presented quarterly. So I appreciate what Dr. Underwood and all of the finance and business department do to keep our board apprised of our financial positions. And then the last information item was 6.07, consideration of the proposed calendar for the 25-26 school year. And I said last night, I think that this may be one of the best calendars that we've ever put
agree.
together when it
Absolutely.
comes from fulfilling the needs of the teachers, of our staff, certainly of our students. So there were a few changes. And how about Jason? Because I know you're so very involved with this. How about you walking through what
Well,
this
so
calendar looks like?
yeah, you're right. And you and I both said it is kind of a fluid calendar from one year to the next. We do a change that works and then that stays in place. And we know we've done the soft start for quite a while. This year, we're going to flip the alphabet on the first and second day and the third and fourth. We've heard from parents. We've
Many
listened to
parents have reached
feedback
out.
saying,
Yeah.
could we put A through J on the third and fourth day and bring K through Z up? So we're going to try that this year. We'll do lots of reminders so that people don't forget that. We know old habits die hard. So doing that. Another thing I think it's really going to work out well this year in this current calendar, we have added a staff development day in the fall semester. It was in October. It worked out really well for teachers to have more time. They tell us all the time, Billings, they need more time for planning and collaboration, working together. Well, it worked out so well in this proposed calendar for next year. We're going to keep that day, move it into September, and then actually add a day in the spring semester, a second day where teachers with students not being present will use an asynchronous makeup day where they'll have assignments to work on outside of school, so that in each semester they're going to have that day. I think that's going to work out very well. And again, listening to feedback telling us that is really serving a good purpose that day we just had. So we're going to do it again a second time.
Thank you for that. And I think 2 points. First of all, everything is done in a balance. I know that I think still every year in the General Assembly there is a, a lawmaker that says school will not start until after Labor Day.
Right.
I know there are many people that would like that, but they also want.
1987 is the last
Yes.
time we did that. It's been a while.
Let's repeat that:
87.
1987.
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
not just a few years ago,
Right.
but going back multiple decades. But we really can't start after Labor Day and then finish first
Right.
semester before our holiday or Christmas break. I remember when I was a student, and then my first few years of teaching, that we would take the winter holiday and then we'd
Right.
come back with a couple weeks and finish up the first semester. That wasn't good for anybody.
Right. Right.
So,
Not to mention the year then went into about the second, almost to the third week of June back
right,
in those days, not
right,
ending before Memorial Day like we
right.
do now.
And then that pushes summer school
Right.
all the way into the middle of July.
Right.
And so it just,
It's 180
right,
days the state of Indiana requires wherever you put them. And so
right,
it's in some ways a puzzle that you want to work out for everyone, all stakeholders'
right.
advantage.
So everything has to be done within a
Sure.
balance. I do know that teachers coming back on July 31st, I think this will be probably the only year where that's pushed back
Right.
into July by one day because of how the
How the
calendar
days fall.
falls.
Mhm.
But so everything in a balance. And the second thing is we truly do listen to our
Absolutely.
families that said, hey, we're in the second half of the alphabet. Can we go first?
Right.
So that then our kids could have that opportunity. And then also bless our teachers. It is a very complex task that we ask them to do, and they simply ask for more time to plan with each other so that
Yes.
they can put opportunities in front of the kids that are the very best for
Sure.
them. So I think we've managed to do that. So then the way the calendar really lays out, there's an opportunity for staff development.
Mm-hmm.
Then the school starts, and then there will be a break, and then another opportunity for staff development
Mm-hmm.
the next quarter, and then we have winter break.
Mm-hmm.
Staff development on January the 5th. Students come back on the 6th, and then that third quarter is completed. Staff development roughly in that same time frame, and then we come back with the fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the summer break. So
Real
planning,
balance. Yeah.
right? Planning the quarter, a week at least break. Planning quarter,
Right.
2 weeks. Planning quarter, spring break. Planning quarter, summer break.
Right. And we also know that this full week of fall break has been very well received from
Yes.
families, students, staff. Really is a nice opportunity to catch your breath for a full week. So we've kept that in for next year. And we've always heard, too, that people really appreciate 2 full weeks for the winter break.
Right.
So they can really stop, decompress, get caught up, friends and family, celebrate the holidays, that type of thing. So we've been able to keep that in
You bet.
as well. So I do agree with you. We've had these conversations, and then we still have a few that it's going to be a great calendar, and we do still have 3 potential makeup days built into the
Right.
calendar. We even adjusted one of those back a little bit, so if we miss a day in the winter, it's going to be at our disposal a little quicker than waiting until the end of the year. So really things seem to have worked out with this calendar
Yeah.
very well. Lots of input, lots of feedback. We appreciate that from everyone.
You bet.
And that wraps that up. And then that takes us to the final part. Last night, you had for continued business, you shared a few things. So why don't you go through that with
I'll be
us?
happy to. Had the opportunity, the blessing to actually observe Pat Shoulders being inducted into the IU College of um, Arts and Sciences Distinguished Alumni Award. Um, I did not know this, but IU has over 177,000 alumni.
A
That's
lot of us out there.
the
Yes.
second largest alumni group in the
Yes.
entire nation.
Right.
So I think that speaks volumes for the service that Pat has provided to IU
For so many years.
and so many individuals that I think are attending IU because of Pat.
Yeah. Really
So
amazing.
congratulations to Pat. If you are able to view this, the video of this, you saw a picture that appears to be a little bit older, if you will.
Now be nice now.
I love Pat dearly. He's a dear friend, and most importantly, he's been such a valuable asset. I think 36 years as an EVSC attorney, and then the next picture up, you will see him actually receiving the award. So
Not only a great alumni and all he's done for Indiana University, but I don't know that you'd find anyone in the Midwest who is at his level in terms of school law.
completely
I mean, he
agree.
is truly an expert, and that's not using that term
No,
loosely.
and then when you think of the Stone Center that we have in downtown Evansville, I don't think that would have happened without Pat
Right.
Shoulders being on the
Right.
IU board.
One of those people that just communities are lucky to have when they
You
have
bet.
someone like Pat.
You bet. And then next, really fortunate to see presentations from student teams at 4T at Bossy High School. This is just a great program that's sponsored by Toyota. Toyota invests in our students
Another
and
great
in our
partnership.
teachers. Absolutely. So we had juniors and seniors at 4T that were given a problem to solve, and it was they had 4 marbles that they were given of various shapes or sizes, I should say. I think a marble is always
Probably
round, but
round. Yeah.
various sizes, and then 3 different shades. One was green, one was yellow, and one was blue. So in this slide, you will see, and they were given the opportunity with uh, some equipment, but not told how to resolve the issue. And the challenge was to put the appropriate marble in the appropriate container. Uh, so you'll see different iterations and different ways to solve this. So hopefully you're viewing this on,
Yeah, if you're able to
on
view
YouTube.
this, it really is interesting.
So they mounted the slide on the rack on the right. It would then roll down, and it would then be read by, if you can see that red bar and then the little black, that's a reader, thank you. And it would read what shade it is. Then it would take it on forward. And then if it was too large, it would drop it down in the container that you see at the very front. And if it was the small one, it would not make it that far. It would drop it in that little hole. But then it would make it all the way down to where you see it looks like the blue on that on the metal. Thank you. Nope, up a little. Thank you. That one. Then it would drop it down into that container, and then that container then would move left or right and drop the green marble in the green slot, the red marble in the red slot. And all of this was then programmed through different code on that module on the left. So students had to program this in the computers to get all those things to work. The next slide shows a very different approach. You can see it's solving the same problem, but solving it a different way. You drop the motor or the marbles in up top. You see the reader up, that black unit up on the very top, and then it would send it on through, and then it would move that track to drop the marbles into the appropriate slot in that blue container. Once again, all of that had to be programmed, but programmed differently than the first example. On this third example, you'll see yet another iteration, and a lot operates off the same principle, but you see that black container in the middle there, that will rotate around, and it will drop the blue marble then in the blue where the blue tape is, the red marble where the red tape is. And then moving forward to the last example, this actually operates off a rack and pinion. So you drop the marbles over on the left in the red track, you see that little grabber then that takes and rotates it through. It is then red, and then those green containers then move through that rack and pinion setup to adjust to the red marble falling in the container that has the red bottom on it. So it moves that green container, and then everything else is stationary. Once again, the programming for that and the coding for that is different than the other three examples. So
I think the moral of this story is, after, even if you couldn't see the pictures, just listening to you describe that, just a learning experience,
right.
so many facets you're having to bring together
Hmm.
for students to talk about hands-on learning and
Absolutely.
using all parts of your brain and technology and engineering and
Yeah.
physics. And I mean, it's just
Yeah.
really amazing.
So the problem was the same, the outcomes were the same, but this was a Kaizen event. So they put together their equipment a certain way, and then they did trial runs, and then they, through an analysis of success of the outcomes that were expected, then they changed their either their programming, their coding, or some of the structure within the models that they had developed to more accurately predict and have better outcomes in terms of performance based upon their first iteration to their second, third, fourth iterations. And while I was there, I did not see one marble end up where it was not
That's
supposed to end
amazing.
up on all four
Wow.
different models. Yeah.
Wow. Again, what a great partnership that we
So,
have with
yeah,
Toyota, and to have this at Bossy High School for
right.
our students.
So I was just going to say thank you, Toyota, and then thank you, Bossy High School, because once again, it's just another example of the great opportunities that our kids have.
For
And
sure.
if students want to be involved in that 4T model, then they could go to Bossy High School and
Sure.
and be involved in that program.
Definitely.
And Toyota will also, great partnership with Vincennes University, but Toyota then will pay for individuals that go through this in their ATM program. They will get a degree, they'll work at Toyota, or you can go straight to Toyota from this 4T program. And I believe 70% of the management folks at Toyota started on the line.
Yeah.
So just great
Setting kids up
opportunities
for
for our
success
kids.
in their future, and that's the name of the game. That's why
Absolutely.
we're in this business,
Right.
because we want kids to be successful and be
Yep.
able to raise families, and have great
Right.
life after they
Sky's
leave
the limit.
us. For sure. And then I think quickly you were going to show us a couple of things.
Oh,
Last but
yes.
not least, food service, another area we're very proud of. And this is here we started talking about Halloween at the beginning. So talk to us
Yeah.
about this.
Well, our food nutrition staff just do great work. They go above and
Yes.
beyond, and they take such great pride in their work. So as we click through these pictures, I would encourage anyone to get on their Facebook site, Food and Nutrition, and just see the great things that they've done with pumpkins during the fall time of
Yes.
year. This, if we could go back to that, I thought it was okay. What is it? Well, that on the right, that's really emblematic of a Hershey kiss,
Yes.
but it's really a silver pumpkin with
Right.
kisses on it. It just,
Right.
in their pumpkin decorating contest, just
Yeah.
so cool.
But that's above and beyond. They don't have to do
Oh,
that. They want to do that. Why?
right.
Because they want to make it a fun
Yeah,
place for kids to come through to get their lunch, making that
absolutely.
school experience even better.
And there you see a s'more that really
Yes.
is
Instead of a
a
marshmallow, it's a
pumpkin.
pumpkin. Yes.
Yeah,
That might be kind of a hard s'more to eat. I'm not
it
sure.
might be, yeah, kind of seedy, but you know, eating cookies and then just the artwork
Somebody
on
was
that.
an artist who painted that
Absolutely.
pumpkin.
So
So
kudos to food nutrition
yes.
staff. They have such important work that they really do provide our students, making certain that they have great, healthy, nutritious, good tasting food, breakfast, lunch, and also snacks. So
Yeah.
it does take all of us working together
For
to
sure.
make certain that our kids have the most outstanding educational opportunity they could possibly have.
Well said. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this
We have.
podcast, a lot of great information. Appreciate you taking the time to share it with us.
Thank you, and I appreciate our audience listening.